What's up everyone? Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies. Today's video is a review of A Complete Unknown. It's the new Bob Dylan biopic that's directed and co-written by James Mangold, who is no stranger to the genre, having directed 2005's Walk the Line, which chronicled the life of country music legend Johnny Cash. Based on Elijah Ward's 2015 book, Dylan Goes Electric, Newport, Seeger, Dylan, and the Night That Split the 60s, A Complete Unknown follows Dylan's rise to fame in the early 60s as he emerges from an unknown musician into a folk music superstar. Before I jump into the review, do me a favor, like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos I post here on the channel.
When's the new album out?
Soon. 200 people in that room, and each one wants me to be somebody else. And they should just let me be.
Let you be what?
Whatever it is they don't want me to be.
A Complete Unknown is an enjoyable movie, despite it following a very common story structure that's often found in other musical biopics, especially ones about artists from this time. The year is 1961. Dylan arrives in New York to meet his idol Woody Guthrie, played by Scoot McNairy, who is confined to a hospital as he battles an illness. After playing a song for Guthrie and Pete Seeger, a very excellent Edward Norton, Dylan soon finds himself on a path to stardom. The movie focuses on a very specific time in Dylan's life, basically the first few years of his career up until his controversial decision to go electric at the Newport Folk Festival in 1965. A Complete Unknown mostly offers glimpses into those moments of Dylan's life, which leaves the story feeling scattered as if important context is missing. And maybe that's the point, considering this is about someone who's long been regarded as a mysterious and elusive figure. Or maybe I felt that way because despite being familiar with Dylan's biggest hits, I don't really know a lot about his life or his career. So instead of diving deeper into Dylan's life or his elusive persona, the movie is mostly interested in his music and the impact it had on the industry, which is why one of the movie's biggest strengths are the musical performances. Mangold is again a very solid director when it comes to movies like this, and he does an excellent job with the way he stages these performances. Many of them have a very intimate feel, and the use of close-ups force you to focus on the performer and the lyrics that they're singing, and it often feels like you're in the room watching a live music set. A Complete Unknown's other strength is its talented cast. Timothée Chalamet is brilliant, and he delivers as Dylan. He's able to replicate Dylan's way of speaking and singing in a way that doesn't feel like a cheap impersonation, but rather a genuine and thoughtful portrayal. And there were times in the movie where I forgot I was watching Chalamet, and I really believe it's one of the best performances of his career. Monica Barbaro plays Joan Baez, and she's equally up to the task of embodying an iconic music figure. And I think it'd be fair to say that she steals a lot of the scenes she's in with Chalamet, and her performance completely blew me away. And the scenes with the two of them together singing on stage are some of the most captivating moments in the entire movie. I also really liked Edward Norton's performance as Pete Seeger, who was a very central figure in Dylan's life during that time. And Norton brings a sort of warmth to his portrayal as Seeger, which I think works so well considering the type of relationship Seeger and Dylan have in this movie. Boyd Holbrook as Johnny Cash was such a delight, and I honestly didn't know what to expect from his performance and his portrayal of Johnny Cash, but he's amazing, and when he arrives, there's just this energy in the scenes that he's in, and I honestly couldn't get enough of him. Elle Fanning plays one of the non-singing characters in the movie, but she's absolutely great as Sylvie Russo, Dylan's girlfriend during the early years of his career. The movie doesn't really do a great job of fleshing out that relationship, and so much of it really hinges on their on-again, off-again relationship. But that being said, Elle Fanning does an amazing job of bringing this vulnerability to her character, to the role. And so even though you're not, fully invested in that relationship and you kind of wonder what she ever saw in Dylan, you still really, really enjoy watching Elle Fanning on screen. I know this movie is about Dylan and about his music and his work, but, watching this movie, I honestly really wanted to see more for some of the supporting characters in this movie, mostly because, their interactions with Dylan really kind of help give you a bigger and better picture of who Dylan was. And I think this movie was really lacking that. The movie basically culminates into this really dramatic and exciting moment that is just fun to watch, even though you know exactly what's going to happen. Again, A Complete Unknown is a solid movie. It looks great, has some really gorgeous cinematography, and it sounds great. I mean, the sound editing is just so precise here. And again, the musical performances with the music that's playing, you hear these really great Dylan songs, and they really come alive in a new way. They're being sung by, the actors, Timothée Chalamet. I talked about his performance, but he's also singing too, and he does a amazing job of replicating Dylan. And so this movie sounds amazing, and in those performances, you really feel like you're watching it all unfold live, especially at the festivals. It just really comes alive in a very, very special way. And so what this movie lacks in story, it makes up for in those performances, which are just spectacular. If you're coming to this movie knowing very little about Dylan, it's very likely you'll leave from it knowing a little bit more about him, but also maybe seeking out more information about his life and also his music. If you're coming into it as a Dylan expert, you're very likely not going to leave knowing more about him. There's no, major revelations here in this movie. That's not what this movie is really interested in. But I think regardless of where you are on that spectrum, I think everyone can kind of leave this movie with an appreciation for Dylan's music and his contribution and his legacy. So those are my thoughts on A Complete Unknown. Are you planning to see this movie in theaters when it arrives on December 25th? Are you a Dylan fan? Let me know in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe and stick around for more videos like this.